Hey everyone. Getting ready for a new baby is well, it's a lot. And you're probably already thinking about all those cute newborn photos.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But maybe you're also kind of wondering about all the props, like how's all that work?
Yeah, you're totally right, especially for new parents who maybe haven't done the professional baby photos before. All that prop stuff can be a bit like, what even is all that?
Exactly. And that's what we're going to dive into today.
Yeah.
We found this really helpful guide all about newborn photography props.
Perfect. And don't worry, we're not going to get all technical. We'll just answer the questions you probably have.
Okay, awesome. So let's start with the basics, like why do photographers even use props? I mean, babies are already super cute on their own right.
Absolutely. But it's not just about adding even more cuteness. Props help create those magical images that capture how tiny and new your baby is, those first few days.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's like making a little world just for them. But what kind of props are we even talking about?
It's like their secret weapon.
Hmm.
The main things are those soft blankets and wraps that keep the baby cozy and add some nice colors and textures to the photo. And then there are things like cute little baskets and bowls, or even tiny furniture.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those photos where it's like the baby sleeping in a tiny little forest or something. So sweet.
Exactly. And some photographers even do themed shoots, like a little camping scene or a mini spa.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So it sounds like photographers have a ton of props, but can parents bring their own stuff too?
for sure. Personalization is key to making those pictures extra special. Bring things that mean something to you, like family heirlooms or a special toy. Anything that has meaning.
Oh, that's really sweet. It's like adding your family's story to the photos.
Exactly. And that's what makes these photos more than just pictures. They become part of your family history.
I love that. So speaking of the guide, we found it's actually an entire online store all about newborn photography props. I know, right? They have everything blankets, those trendy rattan and metallic things, clothes, backdrops, even the studio equipment. It's really impressive.
It really shows how much work goes into taking those perfect newborn photos.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what else I was thinking about?
What's that?
Safety. Because some of those poses look kind of complicated. And of course, we all want to make sure the babies are safe.
You're 100% right. Safety is the most important thing, and any photographer who works with newborns should make that their top priority. Luckily, professional newborn photographers are trained in how to pose babies safely.
Oh, good. That's a relief.
Yeah.
So how do they get those cute poses without, putting any pressure on the baby?
Well, they have some tricks. A lot of photographers use a special bean bag that's really soft and supportive so they can position the baby gently.
Oh, that makes sense. It's like a little nest.
Exactly. And sometimes those poses that look impossible are actually made by taking a bunch of photos and combining them digitally.
Well, really, that's
Doesn't
like
count.
magic.
It is, and that's why it's so important to work with a professional. They know how to make amazing photos while keeping your baby safe and comfy. So have you thought about what style you like?
Honestly, that's where I get overwhelmed. There are so many styles. How do you even choose?
It's a tough one for sure. Think about the overall look you like. Do you want something natural and simple with soft colors, or do you like those really creative setups with lots of details and color?
Hmm. I think I like those really dreamy photos, the ones that look like a fairy tale.
Then you gotta look for photographers who do that style.
Mhm.
When you're looking at their websites, pay attention to how they use light color and props. Do their pictures make you feel something? Do they tell a story?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like finding an artist whose work you really connect with.
Exactly. And don't be shy about contacting photographers whose work you love. Ask them questions, tell them what you're thinking, and see if you get along. That connection can make a big difference.
Okay, so let's say you found a photographer you like. What's next?
Most photographers do a consultation before the photo shoot. It's basically a chance to meet, chat about everything, and see if you're a good fit.
Like a first date for your baby's photo shoot.
Haha, exactly. During the consultation, you can talk about when the shoot will be. Usually, newborn photos are done in the first 2 weeks.
Is there a reason for that? I always wondered why those pictures always have those sleepy, cuddly babies.
It's called the newborn bubble for a reason. Babies are sleepiest and most flexible in those first 2 weeks, which makes it way easier to pose them.
Ah, so that's why they look so peaceful in those photos. They're basically professional nappers.
Pretty much. It's the best time to get those cute, curled up poses. You'll also talk about what your baby will wear, any colors you like, and if you want to use any specific props or have a theme.
So it's really a team effort.
Absolutely. The more you're involved in the planning, the more special and personal the photos will be.
And speaking of personal touches, you mentioned bringing your own things.
Mhm.
What are some cool ways to do that?
Oh, there are so many possibilities. Think about things that show your family's background, hobbies, or even your dreams for your baby. Like if your family loves music, maybe include a tiny instrument. Or if you love to travel, maybe a little globe or an old
I
suitcase.
love those ideas. It's like
Ex-
adding more meaning to the pictures.
Exactly. And those little details will become even more special as time goes on.
Now let's talk about that website again, the one that's like a wonderland of newborn photography props.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that stood out to you?
Well, I was amazed by how many different props they had. It really shows how creative and detailed this whole thing is. They have everything from the classic blankets and wraps to more unique things like those tiny cars you mentioned earlier. I even saw some incredible hand-knitted outfits and cute headbands.
Oh my gosh, that's so adorable.
Yeah,
It's like a world of tiny treasures just for these photos.
it really is. And what's cool is that the website isn't just a store. It also has articles and guides on everything from safety to styling tips.
That's so helpful. It's like a one-stop shop for everything you need to know.
Exactly. And that brings us back to why it's so important to do your research. Whether you're looking at online stores, photographer websites, or reading articles, take your time, look at different styles, find inspiration, and ask questions.
It's all about making good choices and feeling confident about what you want for your baby's first photo shoot.
Absolutely. And don't forget to trust your gut. You know your baby best, and you have a vision for how you want to remember these early days.
That's such great advice.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners who are about to start this whole newborn photography thing?
It means you can make this a really special and personal experience for your family. Do your research, tell the photographer what you want, and make safety a priority. That way you can capture these early moments in a way that you'll treasure forever.
It sounds like it's all about being creative, making it personal, and keeping your baby safe.
Exactly. And remember, the most important prop is the love you have for your little one. That's what will really shine through in every photo.
That's beautiful. So we talked about why photographers use props, how to choose the right photographer, and how to make the photos your own.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last thought. It's about thinking outside the box when it comes to personal items. Go beyond the typical things and think about what represents your family's story or your hopes for your baby.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's like making those photos even more meaningful.
Right. Let's say your family has a tradition of making quilts. Maybe you could include a piece of a family quilt in the photo. Or if you dream of your child being a world traveler, you could use a vintage map or a tiny globe.
Those are such great ideas. It's like adding those hidden layers of meaning that will become even more special as time passes.
Exactly. These photos are more than just cute pictures. They tell the story of your family and the love you have for your baby.
That's such a perfect way to put it. Well, we've covered so much today. From why photographers use props to choosing the right photographer and making those photos truly yours.
And remember, the most important thing is to relax, have fun, and let the photographer do their thing. Those tiny yawns and sleepy smiles are what make these photos so precious.
That's a really cool way to think about it. So we've covered a lot today, from why photographers use props to how to choose the right one and make those photos really personal.
Yeah, it's been great chatting about all this.
Totally. So what's your final piece of advice for our listeners before we wrap up?
I guess just remember that these photos are an investment. You're capturing such a special time, and it goes by so fast.
So true.
Mm.
They're only this little for such a short time.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to speak up and tell the photographer what you're looking for. It's your baby and your memories.
That's a great point. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive into newborn photography props.
It was my pleasure.
We hope this helped you feel more prepared and excited for your own little one's photo shoot.
Yeah, and remember, the most important thing is to have fun and enjoy those precious moments.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for listening, everyone.